Hey, Cliff.
Hi, John.
We're up on.
Everything lags so much on my computer. I can't tell when I've got something right or wrong.
We're up and live on YouTube now, also.
Oh yeah, I saw that in your note. All sorts of things.
Modern technology.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work though. I had one of my doctors. I had a video conference with them. Probably 3 or 4 weeks ago now, and I never did get in there. I had to. She called me on the phone. They couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear them. So I don't know what went wrong. It was not on Zoom though. It was something internally at the doctor's office.
Yeah. That's what my dad's cardiologist did. He sat there and first time they did it was a phone call. The second time they did it was some type of connection through their website or through some private video chat service. And then this last time, the doctor just FaceTimed him through Apple.
Fortunately, my cardiologist is still doing face-to-face, so that's not a problem. I'm just going through a whole month's worth of tests right now, though. He's got one test a week scheduled for this entire month.
Yeah, my dad's doctor has been still doing face-to-face, but he, if you could do, virtual visits, you don't really need to come into the office, and they right now are trying to do that to keep exposures down, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So we got 5 storms at a time going on out there today, huh?
Yeah, that was a first since 1971, I think they said.
I could have sworn this morning on the map they had 6, but
well, I know they got some areas of interest.
Yeah, I think that's what they were counting this morning. I think what turned out to be was 11. Vicky, I think, was not named yet at that time. Only got one letter left.
Yeah. Then we go to the Greek alphabet.
Yeah.
I think they sat there and said if we go into the Greek alphabet this month, I think it is, that it'll be the first time ever we've been so early into the Greek alphabet.
Oh yeah, almost everything's been early. One of these last named storms, it was the first time that name or that letter has gotten into the rotation already.
Yep.
Gosh.
It's 2020.
That darn Sally.
Yeah, I don't think 2020 is going to go out quietly. It's going to go out with a bang.
Oh, I think so too. Sally's been strengthening up there to where it looks like it's going to hit pretty hard when it gets to the coast up there.
Right. Oh, here comes people. They all start showing up eventually.
Oh, yeah. Gee, Michael looks a whole lot like the OARC logo.
looks a little square, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oops, move him around. There's Keith.
Yeah, do it before I forget about it.
Hey,
Been
Keith, you got a
interesting.
battery for your clock.
Do what?
You got a battery for your clock.
That's what I was noticing.
My battery at 3 o'clock.
Hey, the clock on your wall behind you.
Oh, that's
Yeah, your
I
clock
finally
is
put a battery in it, and I got it working since Rick razzed me about it. That's my Zulu clock. It's finally got that one fixed up after all.
Where's Melissa?
Dad may or may not be on here. We're working out technology, and I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Anyway. So I'm going to
Hey,
get.
Melissa.
Hi.
Hey, Melissa.
So how many Zoom calls is this for you today?
Wait, my managers are on vacation, so this is only 2.
Wow.
Got a reprieve today.
Lucky you, huh?
Yeah.
I'm going to start getting a bite of dinner, so I should be back in a few minutes. Have a sunny day.
Mom and Dad are going to be back sometime tonight at 6 o'clock. They were at Gainesville. So
Okay.
Oh, that's not far. That's not far.
it's 105 miles from where they texted me, which is right at Archer Ave, where you get off to go to the hospital up there.
Right.
Hmm.
So that's 105 miles from that parking garage to this driveway.
So about 2 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bet you'd be glad to be home.
Yeah. 19 feet is too small for them. So
Yeah.
they need little bigger space.
That's a long time to be living in a 19-foot trailer.
Yes.
Oh God.
So yeah, I can see why.
Dad
Well, my
wants to get a bigger one to leave up there, and then they keep talking about selling the house and getting a bigger camper for down here too. So I don't know what they're doing.
Enjoy it while they can, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've had a lot of our friends go up into the Smoky Mountains recently,
Yeah.
and I don't know who you are until you change your name. I don't know who you are. Somebody popped in there by owner. Well, I'll start it. We'll figure out who this is.
Oh, I see. Order is connecting.
All right, owner, whoever you are.
I'm not gonna respond.
Excuse me.
Disgrace.
Did your mom and dad go by the way of Indiana?
Oh yeah. Yep. They went and saw Tam for the weekend and saw the puppies.
That's a long drive.
Oh, yeah. It's 17 hours. I drove it in one day to Indiana. When I drove it was 17 hours.
Ooh.
Ah. Oh, now it says mystery guest.
Yeah, I changed the name to Mystery Guest until
Yeah.
we know who it is.
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I guess I have to remind everybody to put their real names up there,
Yeah.
know who you are, or at least a call sign.
Well, this is my work computer because it's just too much of a hassle to have everything set up on here and then turn around and set up the same thing on another computer. It's like,
I can understand that.
Oh, yeah.
especially since I'm working from home all day and I just finished working, what, half hour ago?
Such a
So,
long drive home, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Real long drive.
So that's one of the benefits of working from home. You don't have far to go.
Oh,
Yep.
God, yeah.
The downside is the kitchen is too close.
Yeah.
So when you get stressed and you want to get a munchie, you just go get a munchie instead of. The downside. And actually, I actually like it. It's, quiet and just sit and work. So,
There's a radar out of Mobile, Alabama right now.
oh yeah.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
So far, it looks like
Well, the
Louisiana is going to
predictions-
be the one that's going to get hit this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of the projections that, like Channel 6's radar is showing it, getting close to the coastline and then turning to the right and going up through Crestview
Yeah.
on the panhandle.
Well, they said the more it slows down, the
there.
more it will probably turn north.
Yeah. Now, is the other one behind it's going to follow this one, or is it going to merge with the other ones and go out to sea?
Most of everything else right now is supposed to go out to sea.
Yeah.
So
So it's like about the only one that's got a chance of coming this way is that latest one, which isn't even a storm yet.
Right.
Oh,
And saying it
Vicky?
may come straight across. I don't know. No, the one that's
oh, Teddy.
oh boy, it's way over near Africa at this point. It
Yeah.
hasn't gotten very far. So I think it was 50% chance of developing something. Like that.
It'd be better if they all stay away.
Yeah. But it's kind of nice, the picture. I mean, they were all lined up like little ducks at one point, literally, like all in a row.
Oh, I don't know.
Hey, John, how should we
Yeah.
should we take attendance or how do I track it?
Just use a check-in form and mark them off. Anybody that we don't know who they are, we'll figure out who they are.
I got it. What about mystery guest? Is he under the,
Oh, no, it's still mystery.
what's he go under, affiliates? No.
Is that Mr. or Mrs. Mystery Guest?
I don't know. We don't know since it's a mystery.
Oh,
yet.
Rick.
I guess your guest is as good as mine. Hey, Keith, you're looking good.
Looks a little pale like the wall.
Bill Church. Who's Bill Church? Oh, there he is.
4, 9, 6, 7. We're gonna watch something. Okay.
Well, I actually have to go into work tomorrow for a day and a half, literal where I work for a day and a half.
Wow.
Funny place?
I've been off since mid-March. I got a huge job I've always been involved in, and they need my help. So,
A day and a half, you said?
yeah, it's definitely a full day tomorrow, possibly half a day Wednesday to help out. It's a big, huge shipping job, and I've always been helping on that. It's annual. But then after that, I got to report it when I do unemployment. But hey, $1's a dollar, you know?
That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
When I need to check in with APRS with Cliff over there.
Yeah, it's kind of slow last Thursday. I only had 8 check-ins.
Hey, John and Michael usually check in, but I had.
You had 6, Bobbin.
Well, I know Dad won't be on because he's driving.
Yeah, your father did not check in. He does sometime, and Keith checking either.
Yeah.
Keith didn't check in on my Echo Link last week. I'll slap you around.
When I remember to do it. That's
I
what
love it when people don't want to move to Florida because of all the hurricanes. Let's move to Long Island.
Oh my gosh, it's been a
Yeah, like the guy.
Yep.
I think the guy in Florida that wanted to get away from the hurricanes, so he moved to Wilmington, North Carolina.
That's
You're still
distorted.
broken up there, Cliff.
They get hit all the time. Huh?
Just hit the link and that should
John
do
ran
it.
away. There we go. Got a sneeze coming on.
I can start over.
TAS.
Yeah, David's been checking in with me just on the typing side, which is cool, and with his other half there.
Oh, Teresa. Yeah. Ding dong. Oh, there's Dean.
Good evening, all.
Good evening, everybody.
Howdy, howdy.
Even Mr. Dean.
Who's a mystery guest?
Not sure. That's why it's a mystery.
Really? Wow.
Well, you asked.
I know. I asked the obvious.
So when Tracy puts down a steak dinner in front of you, do you ask her if it's a steak dinner?
Do what?
So when Tracy puts down a steak dinner in front of you, do you ask her if it's a steak dinner?
No, because I did what's cooking at the house. I get home first.
I'm using 2 different ones. One for the picture and one for the.
When Tracy puts down a steak dinner in front of you, do you ask her?
Got an echo from someone in the background.
Oh, that's one.
So when Tracy puts down a steak dinner in front of you, do you ask her if it's a steak dinner? Comes Mr. Empty Beer.
He always has an empty beer with him, yeah.
Empty beers. Okay.
After spending almost 6 months in a hospital with coronavirus, NYPD Lieutenant Ivan Pierre Louis reunited with his friends.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Greeted the 59-year-old
That's Mr. Empty Beer.
Mike,
And
Yeah,
Hempstead, New
Mike's always got an empty beer next to him. I know that.
That's right. Empty beers instead of full ones.
Yeah, really.
you the
Did you empty them yourself? There you go.
mountain.
Yeah. Maybe I did.
in the U.S. Brooks turned 111 for the weekend, receiving
It's empty.
Now it is.
Hey, there's Mount Beard.
Thank you for your service.
MT beers. Come on, man, get with it.
For inviting us into your home tonight. That's it for this special report.
P25 people, they're so weird.
The story hosted by Mark McCallum, who knows
Not as weird as D-Star people.
two veterans.
I'm telling you, you got that right, boy. You should have heard 30 Charlie about a week or so ago. Victor was telling me the story all about it. They were out there fighting over the stuff that's going on in the world.
God. You know what they say, the two most biggest things that cause wars.
I'm happy to report that I missed it.
You're lucky you missed it. I missed it too. Victor said, dude, you should hear this. It's crazy out there. They were fighting. They were saying, go back to your own country and this and that. And like, oh.
You remember the two construction workers from last year?
What about them?
One was essentially pro-Trump and the other wasn't. They rode together.
Oh, that had to be rough.
Yeah, one killed the other.
Oh, no.
Yep, they got into an argument and
Really?
shot one. I think he shot him, or no,
Oh.
killed him with a hammer. I can't remember what he did.
Over politics?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, that's one less Democratic vote and one less Republican vote.
They killed each other?
No, only one died, but the other one can't vote.
Oh, that's right. That is just.
Cancel them. Yeah, cancel them both out. Yeah.
There are some people that just can't talk about
Why I
it.
don't put any bumpers there.
They don't talk about it. They don't say anything about it. And if you
I've
ask
always had a policy, no bumper stickers.
Well, I've got an ARES sticker on the back of my car. I'm afraid I'm going to get pulled over.
Yeah, you are.
Mine says ham. I got the ARES, the OARC. You know.
Oh, you're an Aryan. Ah,
Yeah, ARES. There you go.
racist.
Arian.
Yeah, for those police, they beat everybody.
Put a Trump and a Biden sticker on your car.
Oh, that ought to. Yeah, one on one side, one on the other.
And a
Well, there
Bernie.
was one of those.
Put a Bernie
there
in
was
the
one of those
middle.
yesterday. We're at the
I don't know who I'm not going to vote for. You know.
we were at the Costco gas station yesterday,
Oh,
and beside us was a huge Biden
well, they
fan
did that.
with magnetic signs on the side of the car and bumper stickers all over the place. And in front of us in a pickup truck was a Trump supporter. I was waiting to see if
He's
the
like,
Civil War was going to happen in front of us.
I'll tell you. Oh. Are doing some really stupid stuff over this.
Crazy.
It's just some of it is scary.
I saw that. That's good.
When you can't express your opinion in a supposedly a free country without fear of getting shot, there's something wrong. People
That
need
is
to take a
correct.
breath.
That is correct.
You can say whatever. You can say whatever you want as long as you don't offend somebody.
Well, it's like Cliff said there and said that you don't put any bumper stickers on your car anymore because you're at a shopping center and somebody's going
Oh,
to
God, no.
key it, knife it, disface
Was-
it.
Was Cliff clear on that transmission?
No.
No, it was.
Oh, okay, Cliff.
Bullet hole
Just so you know,
through
Cliff,
it.
you sound like this when you're talking on whatever it is you got there. This is what you sound like.
There's a
Okay,
guy
Jane.
at church who wears a Trump mask and he goes, I can't wear it anywhere else because I'm afraid something will happen if he
That-
wears it out.
If you can't wear what you like, that's bad.
Mhm.
I bought a Second Amendment shirt because Frank keeps teasing me. He said they're gonna come and take your guns. I said let them come.
You have the Second Amendment shoot and someone shoots you. A Second Amendment shirt and someone comes and shoots you. Yeah.
That's it.
Crazy.
All right, we'll wait about another 2 minutes and we'll get started. I'm just trying to make sure everybody gets connected. Sure nobody's having issues.
Hey, Bob, we haven't heard you out there. Where you been?
I've been laid off since mid-March. I just haven't been on the radio. I just do the 80-meter check-in on every morning except Sunday, and that's about it. I don't play radio much.
Well, we're on
So I still have 31129.
we're on 31129 Orlando. That's still there. That's on the QRM network.
Right.
And then we jumped on a P25 reflector. We're cross-moding from Fusion to P25.
I could probably do that. Yeah.
Yep, you could.
I'll just say, are you on 37 Charlie at all?
I popped down there today. I think I put one of my access points on there today.
I got the HT here all charged up. But I don't know. I guess being laid off, I'm helping a friend out in Oviedo, and building out his recording studio over at the Oviedo Mall. Just assisting, like ham stuff. It's a volunteer thing. He'll buy me lunch once in a while or something like that. He keeps a routine up. Like I say, tomorrow I go back for a day of actual work where I work.
Hey, I got a question.
I typed in my little contribution for tonight for people to read when they have a chance after the meeting.
When we go back, I think we should keep this available.
Oh yeah.
Because for the people who can't make it to the meeting, maybe we can get a few more people more involved.
A Zoom for people that can't make the meeting and we're actually at the comm center. Not a bad idea. I like that.
Yeah.
You're in charge, Mike.
Group meetings are the way of the future.
And, yeah, Melissa, Mike from Syracuse can join in.
I've been virtual for over 5 years with my company, and we have our own Gov Zoom.
Well, ham radio is social distancing, you know.
Which is different.
All right, we're going to get started. So to answer that question, since everybody kept talking, I can't get in word in inchwise. We're working on those details on when we are able to start meeting back in person, that we also can still do bring people in by Zoom. Not sure how that's going to work. Not sure how that's going to play out yet, and whether or not it's even possible because of all the things we have to carry to the meetings every month. This would be even more equipment we'd have to carry. So, but we're going to give it a shot once we get the clearing to go back to having our face-to-face meetings at the at the USC or for OERC back at the Beardall Senior Center. So we'll work on those. All right, we're going to get started. We're kind of change things up a little bit this month again. We have a guest speaker that's here, and I want to give him all the opportunity in the world to have the time that he needs to talk about what he wants to talk to us about, and plus have time for questions and answers. I'm not sure yet, Rick. I'll have to find out. So with no further ado, I'm trying to find him on my screen. There he is. Doug, W4DBL, is also an individual that is volunteers for the Florida Department of Emergency Management, or do you actually work for him? I don't recall.
No, I don't work for him. I don't get paid for anything. So my wife thinks I'm a slave to somebody anymore. I actually got, yeah.
So we're going to give it to Doug, and then when we're done, we'll go through our normal details that we go through each meeting, and then we'll talk about whatever else needs to talk about. So good evening, Doug. Appreciate you stopping in tonight.
Thanks, guys. A word of introduction. I live in Port Orange. I'm the an ARES AEC over here, kind of an admin support guy for our unit here. But I got involved kind of sideways with Florida Department of Emergency Management when I started asking some questions about their comm stuff and comm contacts and all, and ultimately wound up being one of the two Florida reps to the FEMA Oxcom working group, DHS whatever you want to call it. So I'm, as part of that, I started out, and Florida actually has a program that they've been trying to roll out called SupCom. And that's what you guys are kind of, for lack of a better term, I think you're going to be the Orange County EOC SupCom cadre. But I'll roll this program out, tell you about it. I have been doing the same presentations to EOC managers, both in Orlando, to John and Donnie, both over there, as well as talk to a couple other people, Flagler County. And I'm just kind of doing county by county and expanding this. Gordon Gibby out of Alachua is my counterpart, and he's kind of working that into the side of the state as well. So anybody, any questions? And if not, I'll pull a presentation up and try to share that so everybody can see it. Let me rearrange a couple things here. Let's see if I can share this screen. There it goes. There, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. This is Bob Little at Florida Department of Emergency Management kind of put this together a couple of years ago. And it's based on the SHARES radio system and operators for it. And depending on the county, depends on how they want to incorporate it, use it, not use it, or expand it. So SupCom is a way that Florida is reclassifying ARES, MARS, and the emergency communication support for their internal comm auxiliary, if you will. AUXCOM, as you guys know, is the DHS FEMA equivalent with an ICS position. AUXCOM's got task books, SupCom doesn't. Doesn't mean it won't eventually, but right now, no. Some definitions, everybody, you know, I'm speaking of choir here, so I'm not going to delve into this too much, but you guys know what an ARES organization is. RACES tends to be one that I have a personal issue with because it's a service, it's not an organization, but a lot of people claim they're a RACES operator when in fact they aren't. CERT, you guys are familiar with CERT teams. Some of them have amateur radio operators in them, some of them don't. Some of them use other forms of comm. REACT, national organization. The REACT guys tend to think they're in charge a lot of times in different things, but they're used in different counties in different ways. ICS, everybody understands that one. NIMS, I think everybody's familiar with that. FRS, a little bit about some of the radio systems that fall into play in the different support channels. Family radio system or service, unlicensed 22 channels, Midland radios, typically Sony's and some of the others. GMRS, mobile radio service, short range, they do allow repeaters, 50 watts now. MURS, which is the licensed or no licensed VHF 5 channel. Again, a few watts. Citizens Band, been around for years. And of course, us, amateur radio service and licensed operators. And a little bit go from there. I'll talk about why some of these are important as we get into some of the questions and answers. The folks up in Flagler have managed to build all their emergency comm support around all of these different organizations. So a little bit different approach than some of the other counties have done. What are they looking for as far as goals? Mainly to improve interoperability, standardization, and capability. SupCom is, again, it's the Florida Department of Emergency Management program. I've heard some talk about they want to go to the AUXCOM format, but it's not there yet, and this really doesn't cover that. It adds shares HF radioing, radio comm to the county EOCs. You guys have already been playing there, so that's not something new to you. It's applicable state and county level only. It does not go below the county level. Again, standardization, and it aligns the SupCom EOC positions with ICS AUXCOM functionality. Again, here's their 4 bullets, but mainly building on existing capabilities, which is where you're at, and reducing some of the competing and competitive attitudes that have plagued some of the other counties. Now it's the, an initial method for Florida Department of Emergency Management to catalog and identify, select, and manage shares radio systems operators. In the future, it may grow to, incorporate some other individuals, organizations, and training as needed, but it's still going to be a county level program. Okay, what is it? It's the people and personnel providing comm support to your EOC. I'm not going to read everything there, but it's everything that folds into it. Landline, commercial government wireless, agency radios. SUBCOM is activated to provide comm assistance when everything else starts getting overloaded or just quits working. And as a SUBCOM operator or person, you're a technical specialist in the COMMU. It's where it falls. How's it implemented? As I said, it replaces all of the competing programs by name with a single designation called SUBCOM. Doesn't mean you can't be part of an ARES organization, a Mars operator, Orlando supplemental support, whatever, but it's up to the county EOC to decide how they're going to use you and fold you into the program. Participating counties sign on to the program. They provide any qualified individual from any organization. Now, the participants form an organized cadre, and the program sponsors being the Florida Division of Emergency Management. The supported agency is the county EOC. And the local program manager is technically the emergency manager. If you got any questions at this point before we keep going, I can rattle on, but it may be easier to just discuss and talk as we go. John, you can moderate or see if anybody's got anything you want to say.
Anybody have anything they want to ask about? Speak up. Don't forget to unmute your mic.
Okay, I'll roll forward then. What's the FDEM's responsibilities in this thing? They're going to maintain a database of operators and participating agencies. The agency itself approves the operators, and then FDEM stores the data and all the documentation associated with it. They'll do it on a secure server in Tallahassee. The local agency uploads their personnel, the names and other information is required. Tallahassee will secure and issue an agency call sign. So right now you've got the one for Orlando already. If somebody was starting out, that paperwork would run through Tallahassee just for coordination and on up to FEMA or CISA. The one advantage to having them do it is that the paperwork turns around a lot quicker. I had a station call sign issued in 3 days. So, depends on what they're doing, but it does tend to clean up some of the process. Coordinate training and support for SUBCOM program compliance if they need something specific. Any exercises. If and when the program, if this concept rolls into a formal program, then they'll try to find some money to go with it for training and that sort of thing. Frequency requests and allocation all go through Tallahassee. There's 3 frequencies that are Southeast region shares frequencies, but state of Florida has several that they've got in a pool that they can break out and utilize as needed.
Question.
Go ahead.
At this point, SUBCOM is sort of shares centric.
Yes, it is. SUBCOM is the people that basically are going to be blessed to handle a shares radio.
Thank you.
What does the EOC or the agency have to do? A, acknowledge they're playing, appoint a lead agency person, and then the agency identifies and invites the operators. When I briefed this to John and Donnie, I basically briefed them that the cadre was essentially you guys coming back through the door with them putting the blessing on it. They've got you set up, providing a share station. You know, y'all are pretty much set. To give you an example and counter this a little bit, one of the other counties I was in, they've got one guy that claims that if it's not ARES, there shouldn't be anybody there. They've got a couple of guys inside the county EOC that have been trying to make everything work. So the emergency manager has looked at this and said, this is what I'm going to do. If you want to play, you can play nice and by my rules, or you're not going to play at all. So it's going to give the county EOC manager something that he can point to and say, this is how I'm playing, you know, sign on or don't play. So it's, and I, you know, most everybody's been around long enough to know that the egos and the personalities that get involved in some of this can be more detrimental than they are helpful. So it's kind of an end run around some of the personalities that have been problems, I guess is a good way to put it.
This organization does that very well.
Yeah, so I've heard. So anyway, you know, the background checks, if the EOC requires them, badging, whatever, that's all up to the local county guys. Florida doesn't really care. Equipment, HF radios, antennas, tuners, modems, that sort of thing. Now, I will tell you that the philosophy that Steve Waterman and a few other folks have, and even Bob Little to an extent, is if the county is not willing to put a little money into the program and help buy some of the radio equipment, the modems, P4 modem, that sort of thing, then they don't have any skin in the game. And at that point, it doesn't seem to matter to them. So when I did this, and I've told John some of this, but when I talked to the folks over at the EOC, and they said, well, you guys have provided most of the equipment. My throwback into that one was, well, the county needs to pony up the money and own the primary station. They need to buy the modems. And I recommended you consider trying to find enough money right now to just buy 2 modems. One becomes inside. The second one takes is he gets money to buy actual hardware, buy the antenna systems now, buy the cabling, whatever is needed that you guys don't have. And then over time, replace that with county equipment and take the system you got and put it in a go kit so that he's got the capability to have you provide a secondary system. If the first one blows down, they have damage in there or whatever, or need to go to an alternate location, it's already there, it's up and running, you know, and it becomes a secondary station for the county. Anyway, that's kind of how I've approached everybody with the idea that, okay, if it's not there and you don't own it, then you need to buy it. If something's there already, then you need to start buying with the idea that you take what, you know, build you some secondary capability. P4 modems, I just bought one. They're currently running about $1,600 government cost. When you add the cable sets, another $100. Anyway, so back to what they're expected to do. Contact the guys up in Florida, Tallahassee, when they're ready, and then try to participate in monthly testing. The operators, again, here's where it gets a little bit different from self-declaring with some of the folks. You're invited based on the relationship with the county EOC. You can't self-declare to the state or anybody else. You know, expect some background checks and vetting, but again, that's a county thing. And the shares operators are internal EOC positions unless deployed with a go kit. And again, there's a separate station license required if you're going to do 2 systems. Your station license does not have the secondary call sign. If it was a secondary, you would have a star call sign, and that means that station license can be deployed. So give you an example, mine's NNJ4EM. The deployed station is NNK4EM. So it can be on the same license, and if you get to that point, it's not a big deal to have it added. Okay, invited operators' responsibilities. Do what the EOC asks or the state for training and documentation. Realistically, it's probably going to be some basic ICS stuff that most everybody's. GMRS license, in addition, go get that. If they wanted you to have countywide radio training on their systems or whatever, I mean, you know, it's up to them. An amateur radio license is not required because the frequencies and stations are managed by DHS and CISA. But it's maintain a professional attitude, comply with the sponsoring agency's guidelines for dress, attitude. Outside membership stay at the door. So if they bring in somebody else, he may be part of SUPCOM, but he may not necessarily be part of your organization or somewhere else. Take direction from the sponsoring agency, and the suggestions are always welcome. Demands aren't. Now was told the other day that one particular gentleman in a county has decided that if he can't be the primary organization, the primary player in the OC, he's going to take his whole organization and move somewhere else. And that's the attitude they're trying to get around. So, you know, I think he's going to find that he's welcome to go somewhere else, but he may not find he's too welcome anywhere. Some of the resources, you know, some of this may be repeating, but FEMA standardized on logistics, COML, and OXCOM as part of COML. The OXCOM training, and for those of you that have had it, it's a bunch of ICS courses along with a 3-day in residence course and a petition task book. For those that don't know, they're trying to find a way to start doing OXCOM virtually. They haven't come up with it yet, but if you haven't taken it and want to, just keep an eye out for that. ARES training, for those of you that are familiar with that, ICS courses, ARRL courses, and position task book. The difference between the ARES one and the OXCOM is recognized by a sponsoring agency. The ARES training is not recognized by any sponsoring agency anywhere as a requirement or anything else right now. And then the local EOC or agency can add any requirements they feel they need. And there may be a unique Florida OXCOM task book at some point, but we're not there yet. Again, some of these slides came out of my EOC briefing, but why use a licensed amateur operator? One is you're not limited to just shares frequencies. You've got the equipment knowledge of the equipment electronics, because most of what we're using is modified ham gear. You can rebuild storms after storm damage. You've got the reach back into the local community if you need equipment, assistance, or personnel if something happens. And most everybody's already got ICS or other advanced training. They use a local vetting problem typically to eliminate personnel issues and people that are a problem. And most everybody has a public care service attitude and mentality already, or you wouldn't be here. Okay, most folks know what shares is. I think everybody does. I'll follow this. I'm not going to do the follow-on presentation unless somebody desperately wants another 30 or 50 slides. But it's the shares resources. DHS and CISA are the administrator. Again, emergency personnel, mission communications when others fail. And it's HF radio resources, government critical infrastructure. Interoperability between your HF systems. And it promotes an awareness of regulatory, procedural, technical issues. Right now, there's over 3,000 participants in the shares program. And participating stations accept and relay if necessary to final station. Shares WinLink now is pretty extensive. There's RMSs. We've got three in the state of Florida that I know of. you guys had an RMS up at one point. And just so you know, they pulled y'all out of the RMS system because without it being up, it would continue to alarm and look for trying to find out why it wasn't on the air. So they've deactivated that. If you get it back up, ready to go, there won't be an issue resetting it up. But I've been told that they did pull it out of the RMS listing. Who's active in shares right now? Of course, Florida Department of Emergency Management System, RMS, WinLink, and Voice. They're running 1,000-watt amplifiers into big antenna, a couple of different antenna systems. Alachua County, EOC, has an RMS, WinLink, and Voice. Monroe County Sheriff is operating RMS, WinLink, Voice. They support Puerto Rico primarily, as that's the one station Puerto Rico can reliably hit. Flagler County, EOC, got a license similar and stations being established. Sarasota has a VHS sponsor station over there that you guys may have seen. I think there's an American Red Cross station over there as well, the WinLink and Voice. And then, of course, you guys are sitting there as a county EOC coming back up on the air. Some of the assumptions for share SUPCOM, of course, the frequencies come from VHS. Or they're, like I said, there's 3 in the region 4 that are allocated permanently to the region for cross communications, but everything else is allocated on an as needed basis. It's for official use only. Should you happen to want to talk about a frequency, and it's maybe, I don't think I'm telling anybody anything new, but you don't use the frequency itself, you use the letter identifier for the frequency. There's a 4-digit identifier for all of their frequencies. Call signs, again, come from DHS CISA. They're not issued to an individual, but issued to the station. And they're tied to program participation. If you guys drop out of participating or someone that has a station license drops out, they'll try to resurrect it, but at that point, they'll pull the station license if it's not active. And again, the County Florida Department of Emergency Management is going to host the database server administration. Most everybody is probably familiar with the Florida CERT track system. I asked the question about why they couldn't just use this as a layer in CERT track. The answer to that was the fact that they have to give every county access into the system to load data, and they weren't willing to open up CERT track or a portion of it to that level of input. Everything in CERT track is done, individual does it, but it's all controlled at the state, and it's on an individual account, not a county or statewide account. Agency time requirements, what's it going to cost the EOC? Well, call sign's done. Identify and recruit personnel in your case is pretty much done. Upload the information into the database once it's created, which is a few minutes. Monthly testing time, and anything they want to do locally. Hardware, nothing new here. Need an radio, an antenna tuner if necessary. Most everything you're going to need in Florida is going to need to be INVIS to be able to get to Tallahassee, but that's not available, then data communication are going to be out of the state and back probably. INVIS maybe for voice. I have been recommending that every one of the EOCs keep a complete antenna replacement and support package available so they can run out into the field out back and restring an antenna when the first one blows down. Realistically, on the coast, that first antenna is not going to be here after the storm. Packet 4 modem for data. And state wants battery backup power in addition to the generators so that you aren't dropped offline or something doesn't blow if it's in switching to the generators. So you want a seamless power supply for the radio, basically. Dedicated computer and printer, again, depends on the location, internal connections, internet capability and connections as needed for software updates and IP connections. And contingency Go Kit is a backup system if available. The gateway stations, 24/7, the additional equipment necessary for that. And FDAM wants to see one gateway per region. And I'll show you the regions here in a second. The utilization, again, last resort, monthly testing, training encouraged. You can use it for anything that's needed, designed as a backup. And locally, they can start with voice data or both. And quite frankly, based on the propagation right now and the layout of Florida, if the county doesn't put data in first, they're not going to have much luck with voice, at least not down here. Data areas, again, the counties, and I didn't put everybody, all of the different counties into this list. Region 8, volunteer organizations. 9 is state agencies. And then again, they would like to see every one of these regions have a RMS server in it. Okay, that's what I've got. I can take questions. We can kick things around. Just, this is something new. Like I said, you guys have got a pretty good organization, what I can tell, support, and you've got good EOC support. So there's a huge difference in the way you're received versus a lot of the other counties are set up.
Anybody got any questions?
I do, Rick. Back one screenshot, please.
That one?
Yes, sir. You indicated that SUPCOM was on a...
I lost you, Rick.
Froze.
Did my internet freeze or did somebody else's?
His did.
Okay.
Yeah, he dropped out.
Yeah, that was Rick's internet that froze. While his internet attempts to melt, I ask a question.
Sure.
So once this is established, if there is a request for our services, do we just simply get that from the local emergency manager, or does that somehow get initiated through Web EOC?
No, it would strictly be the local EOC. What happens is the way this is going to work is the state's just maintaining the operator database. One of the reasons for that is if, say we had a Charlie come through Orlando again or something worse, and you guys, half of you all had houses with severe damage trying to take care of yourselves first, and the EOC had decided they wanted a few more operators that they didn't have. If they asked the state can go into database and say, okay, here's who we got. He could find and send people that were at least knowledgeable and qualified within the system. So, and the same thing, if you were helping out over here in, say, Volusia or somewhere else, and we needed 3 or 4 guys. So that's as much a reason for doing this as anything else, and to give them, again, it's shares centric, and everything above shares is whatever you guys in the county want to put into the program. Now, I will tell you, one of the other counties is going to take their entire county communications auxiliary setup and turn it into a county SUPCOM program. And they're going to eliminate all the infighting that they've had for the last 5 years. They're going to meld the other organizations, but they're going to force them all to stop fighting. Is what it's going to amount to.
You said that was another county that was going to do that?
That's another one of the counties going to do that. They're doing their EOC. Now, they've got, I think, they've got a really good countywide multiple repeaters. They've got DMR repeaters up there. They've got GMRS, several of those. They've got some VHF, UHF stuff as well, some D-Star. And so what they're doing is they've put in a couple of GMRS 50-watt radios in the EOC. You got a CB radio in there or two, I guess. And they're going to add the share system in it, as well as standard HF and VHF, UHF amateur repeater frequencies. So they are going to take everybody in the county, and they've got REACT teams that their comm guys are going to play in the system. They've got CERT teams that get folded into it, but at different levels. I mean, they've got one group that works shelters, but So they're folding the entire internal EOC managed com group, our subcom operators, and they're going to call them level 1 subcom guys. They've got EOC access, they're in the share system, everything else. They're going to create another level called level 2, and that's everybody outside the EOC. So it's going to be the guys that are in the shelters. It's going to be the guys that are supporting the REACT team, the guys supporting certain teams, but they're going to keep them all as a cadre of communications guys at a couple different levels. Make sense?
Yeah, I know which county you're talking about too.
Yeah.
One just north of you.
Yes. I'm not playing secrets. It's Flagler. Now, I will tell you that what's unique about Flagler is their EO emergency manager used to be the deputy emergency manager for the Florida Department of Emergency or Division of Emergency Management, Jonathan Lord. So he came down from Tallahassee with some ideas of things he would like to see accomplished. The other thing he's got over there is he's got a fellow that works for DHS that's writing all of their county support plans for communications. And they've agreed that as we finish some of this stuff, and I've been proofing a lot of it and going back and forth with them, that they'll make this available as a template to anybody else that wants to use it. So it's a stack of paperwork right now, probably about that thick. It's a base plan with about, 12 or 14 annexes. And the annexes cover everything from the GMRS side of it to CERT groups, REACT group, and how they're folded into the county plan. And I don't know enough about how Orange County works, but Flagler has a county auxiliary. And some of their guys are folded into the county auxiliary under the Florida or the emergency management side and the volunteer coordinator. Some of the others stand independent. So just a different way of managing things.
I can tell you that Flagler County has always been volunteer oriented with all their EOC activities. Flagler County doesn't have the financial resources like Orange County does and different larger counties do. So they do rely a lot on their volunteers and stuff. Orange County has a huge infrastructure built out. That's much different climate down here. They still rely on us. They still want us to be part of it. It's just not quite as big as what's up in Flagler.
Now, one of the things that was interesting the other day, I got a question back from Donnie Doyle after I did this, and he said, he sponsors some Eagle Scouts that are into ham radio, and he said, would there be any way you think that the state would allow them to participate as a subcom operator? Well, for under 18, probably not individually, but that may be something you guys want to talk to Donnie about and try mentoring some of his scouts that are interested in staying involved and bring some of the younger guys along. Two things. One is it gets them interested, but the other one, it keeps Donnie supporting what you're doing.
Yep. And I talked to Don, I guess maybe prior to one of our previous hurricanes we had and recently. And we're going to get involved with him, work with him more directly. We're just waiting for some of this COVID stuff to kind of calm down and we can meet up with them. So I will mention that after I talked to you on the phone that day, a couple days after that, I did get a call and talk to John Mulhall for quite a while at the EOC and about the presentation he did and everything. And his first thought was, well, as far as he was concerned, that we had a pretty good working relationship with the EOC. He didn't see where a lot of this would technically apply, other than the fact that we would to be part of the system and stuff, but we would do what we had to do as far as our members being part of that. He wasn't looking to bring outsiders and stuff like that in. So
that's kind of what I recommended to him, since you guys already had a good core group there, was that they, other than potentially taking one person in there, maybe him or Donnie, and making sure that they were qualified on the radio in case they had to spin it up or participate in a test and there was nobody else around. But that would have been, that was the only way I went. Same thing I told him.
Yeah. So he was pretty good about it. And he just sat there and said, once things kind of calmed down, obviously they're with the COVID situation and they can start having more face-to-face meetings and stuff again. And he wanted to meet up and talk more about it and stuff. So, and that's what we're all waiting for more than anything. It's just kind of things to calm down a little bit and get back to normal, I get whatever the new normal is going to be, and where we can have face-to-face meetings with everybody again. So,
Well, and we did the same. The other thing is that Bob Little is still trying to get this database in place. North Carolina has one that they have been using that they offered to transfer down here or give them access to. State of Florida wants it behind their firewall. So they're still trying to sort out putting something in place that we can load and feed. And the same thing is, you know, okay, what kind of a data form do you need? How much data do you really need? One extreme is North Carolina's, where they put a guy in their North Carolina Auxcom class. By the time they finish with that, they've run them through that. They've run them through a GoKit qualification course, a shares qualification course, and you know, the whole 9 yards. And then they load them in a database that kind of gets, I guess, even gets scraped by DHS, that they check them periodically because of the fact that they're using them and keeping up with them. So that's one extreme. The other extreme is where I think we're going to wind up to start with, and that's each county putting however many people in this thing, 5, 10, 12, depending on the county, or 15, you know, whatever they need, and saying these guys have access to my shares radio system. And Florida says, thank you very much. We know who they are. And that's about all you're going to see out of Florida for a while, I think.
okay. Anybody else have any questions? And if you're watching on YouTube, there's a chat window that you could type questions into, and we'll make sure they get relayed into the Zoom meeting.
Yeah. And, you know, let me stop this slideshow since you guys don't need to be seeing that. There we go. Now we're back to normal. And I, you know, like I said, my background in this thing, I'm strictly a volunteer. We got, you know, Bob asked if we'd consider doing this. They tried to get the counties to play a couple of years ago, and most of the counties, you know, they didn't even get the time on the emergency managers meeting to go present it. So it hasn't had a wide dissemination, other than as an answer to a few of the guys saying, I'm tired of the fighting. And rather than lose the amateur presence in the EOCs, this is one answer to try to keep it there, but let the EOC manager or the emergency manager have a little more control. And, you know, my attitude is I don't, you know, yeah, I'm a member of ARES, but I'm more interested in this, and way of the EOC is finding a good way to provide a capability that none of them have right now. And the ones that have got a good program in-house, all this does is lets them bless you and keep you right there. The ones that don't have any capability at all, or don't have support, like Taylor County's got 2 people down there, I guess, in the EOC normally. So they can qualify a couple of their county employees as shares operators, and at least they've got a backup capability if they don't have anybody else in the county to help. I was in a class the other day, and they were talking about Taylor County and the fact that it's got fewer people than some of the volunteer cadres in a couple other counties. And the answer was, well, if they get a big storm, maybe they just ought to evacuate the county and not try to do anything. So, yeah, but it varies depending on where you sit at the table on some of this stuff and how you look at it.
Yeah,
I talk a lot too.
Well, that's the difference between different counties and stuff. You know, it depends on what their tax base is like and how much they can actually do. That's why I know that Flagler County's always been a very big advocate on volunteers and stuff, and using volunteers for a lot of the stuff that, you know, most counties would use paid employees to do and stuff. So it all depends on what area, you know, what their tax base is like. So,
John, you guys said that you were looking at verticals as where they wanted to go potentially. You know, verticals don't give you much INVIS capability, but verticals may be able to hit data within the RMSs at Tallahassee or somewhere else around, or skip over something and come back. Hit something in North Carolina or Tennessee or somewhere else. So that was one option. I ran into something the other day. We're talking about doing folded dipoles, a vertical folded dipole hanging off of a tower somewhere. So, I mean, there's other options. I mean, you've got the same problems a lot of the other guys have got, and we've got over here as well, is it where they want you and where the radios need to be. There's a lot of interference out there, and there's a lot of metal around.
Oh yeah, and the other thing is obviously all our equipment right now is all on county property. So you're dealing with facilities. You're dealing with a very huge asphalt and concrete real estate base, where it doesn't make too much. It's not real. I'm going to say tree friendly and stuff, where you can throw something in the trees or something like that. We got obviously different parts of the county that we have to deal with, not only facilities, but we got to deal with radio services, we have ISS, all these different ones, and everybody has some requirements and or while they don't know if they would like that idea because it might interfere with something that they do and stuff. So these are all things that we're working with and dealing with. And that's why it's taken some time, but we've actually come up with possibly a good idea for an antenna. We just got to come up with finish up the plans, run it through facilities with the help of John from DOC, and see if they'll let us, install one of these antennas on top of their building and stuff. Which would be pretty much an inverted V.
And that's kind of what I was pushing them, is to go buy the antennas. Will you guys help them pick it out? And they own the antenna, get the cable in. At least they bought into something at that point where they got a little bit of their money in the game and helping to support you guys.
Well, even though I said that we kind of own most of the stuff that we use right now, the county has purchased that stuff. So I don't want to sit there and it be known or be thought of as Orange County hasn't helped us at all. They have. They've actually purchased quite a bit of stuff.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff that he purchased though was back in the probably late 90s, early 2000 time period and stuff. So some of the things are outdated now, and some things are just are gone because of they broke down and don't work anymore.
Yeah.
And stuff. But so we're working with that, and we talked to John about it, and he's he's willing to do whatever he has to, but it's just not as easy as going out and having them purchase an antenna, because then we still have to get the permission from different parts of the county to put it up.
Yeah.
And stuff. So we want to make sure we have the permissions to do such before we actually just go out and buy the antenna. So.
Yeah, I see a chicken and the egg, and you fight both of them depending on which one. And then when you finally get permission, then they turn around and tell you that the budget was used for something else, and you start over the next year.
Yep. Yep. There's that problem. And then the other thing is that, government never works fast. So you ask for permission today, you might get it 3 months, 6 months down the road. So
yeah.
So
I think.
Can I ask a technical question?
Sure.
Good.
Well, maybe it's not technical. What kind of documents, I guess would be the word, or anything would be sent over these PAC-4 modems? Because I'm reading up on the speed, and I'm for HF, I guess it's a lot, but in the real world, it's not. 3.6 bits, 3.6K bits per second is the throughput.
Yeah, 3.6 or something like that. Vera HF comes close. PAC-4 has got a little bit better noise tolerance, if you will. Yeah. But it's the same thing you do with WinLink. I mean, you're looking at probably an ICS 213. You may be looking at a fatality report. The one advantage to PAC-4 modem is everything is out. They can encrypt the document. So if the county's using PGP or something else with the state, they can encrypt it and hand it to you and say, would you send this? Push it out through the system. So that's the only difference is the fact that under shares you can do encryption if you needed it.
And they would realize we're not going to send anything streaming.
No.
Okay.
I think most shares guys, the ones that are using it, realize it's a text only system. The few people that have tried to put a 12 or 14 meg picture into the system have been chastised, from my understanding, fairly thoroughly after they, bogged the system down and hung up a few places.
Okay, now I am assuming that it's like any other Pactor modem. If the band is really bad, you'll only negotiate to the highest level that will work.
Correct. Yeah, it always, it'll negotiate down until it can actually get something through. P4 is the current standard. They're not making the 2s anymore. They actually aren't making 3s. SCS has got whatever they've got left for them. When I talked to the guys at Farallon the other day, they bought all the 3 modems that are left and have got those up for a little bit of a discounted price for anybody who wants a 3 still.
I'll sell them 2 used ones.
Oh, but yeah, so it's not gonna, it's what it is. I mean, the one advantage to the share system is the federal government's got a lot of people in it. I mean, as you guys know, the Guards got their systems in shares. Some of the FBI offices are in it. Some of the American Red Cross is in it. Some of the larger voluntary organizations are in it. Some of the hospitals are in it. State of Tennessee has their Department of Health runs their own separate share system, and they've got almost every Department of Health and major hospital in Tennessee in it.
With the Pactor, the share system, I know on WinLink they have standard forms. Is it kind of the same for shares?
Yeah, the forms are still, they load those forms. The same forms are in there. They use the same WinLink system. The only difference is it's a separate account for the shares radio versus, the one you see for everything else. But I mean, as far as using WinLink on shares or WinLink somewhere else, there's really no difference for the operator.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
Well, thanks for
All
your
right, Doug.
time, folks. I appreciate the opportunity. And if anybody's got questions, John, you've got my email and stuff. Feel free to ask them. And I will help you guys to push the county to whatever works for y'all.
Okay.
Just let me know.
We don't have to push that hard usually.
Well, my
It's gotta
goal
be
is to try to convince them to go ahead and put a pot of money out there and say, how would you guys like to use this?
Yeah. Well, obviously you don't know Orange County that well.
Oh, well, to give you an idea, Felucia has, we've got the EOC ARES repeater over here. The IMCOM repeater is about 225 feet up in the air on a county tower. And the receive antennas for about several repeaters are fed through one preamp. And that preamp's up on the tower, pumped down, and is split up amongst the various users. That preamp takes a lightning hit on a regular basis, and the county kept a couple of them around. Well, after the last storm, it fried the only one that they had still working that wasn't in repair. So now we're down to everything that was on that VHF side basically not working, and they're trying to repair it. But the guy that's in charge of all that, now they've sent it off, but the guy that's in charge of that is also negotiating the contracts and trying to implement a countywide P25 upgrade. And he's only about $1.8 to $2 million behind budget. So, his priorities are not quite the same as mine and yours might be at this point.
All right, we're gonna continue on. You're more than welcome to stick around if you like. If you got other things to do, we understand. That's why
If you guys don't care, I'll stay and listen just because I always learn something. And if you want to kick me out, just push me out the door.
Nothing secret here, especially when you're broadcasting or streaming live across YouTube right now. So
I have one more general question, John.
Good, James.
This is for everybody. How many people are watching the YouTube right now in our group here on the Zoom side? Because I noticed the count is only 6, and I know I'm one of them, so that leaves 5.
I'm not.
I was just curious. So I'm the only one. Well, no.
Oh no,
Michael has to be 2.
Yeah.
So that leaves 4 other people that are actually watching. Okay, that's what I was curious about.
What actually is interesting is you go back a couple days from now and see how many people have watched it since then. people will catch up later.
Oh,
So you guys stream YouTube as well as the Zoom call then, huh?
Yeah,
Why?
you can actually go from Zoom right into YouTube or Facebook Live if you wanted to. We went to YouTube, and the reason
Oh.
for it is we have a YouTube channel, so we're putting a little bit of we want to put our footprint onto more social media. But the other thing is for people that are not able to join us, because we do have more members than the 21 that's connected here, and the 4 to 6 that are watching on YouTube right now. Not everybody can make it to a meeting night, so this gives them an opportunity to go back and watch to see what happened, what was discussed, and everything. Or other people that might have an interest in joining us.
I'll pick your brain a little bit on that. I think it's a great idea.
It's easy to do, very easy to do. So, all right, let me just go to a couple things real quick I have, and then we'll go around to the rest of the staff and see what they have. I just wanted to mention that I did talk to the ARL's new appointed Director of Emergency Management last week, Paul Gilbert, KE5ZW. He's going to be will be one of our guest speakers here in the future at one of our ARES meetings. Whether we're back at the EOC face to face, we'll bring him in on Zoom from there, or however way we need to do it. But he has agreed to do it. He's getting inundated by requests right now to be guest speakers at ARES meetings around the country. Not to mention, as soon as he became the appointed emergency management director for ARES, they basically said, here, some paperwork, we need to have a budget for next year yesterday. So he's been trying to get his 2021 budget done to present to the board of directors ASAP. So, but I did talk to him. He's a really nice guy, very interested in meeting everybody, give him feedback and some new ideas to hopefully to the ARES volunteers across the country. So I'll look forward to that meeting when he joins us here. It could be this year, later this year. It could be next year sometime. We're just not sure yet. So, but he'll keep in touch with us. The other thing I want to mention real quick, something that happened this year, we got lucky as amateur radio operators here in Orlando and be able to host Orlando Hamcation in February. Shortly thereafter, everything started shutting down across the country, including here in Florida, all these different events. One of the things that we do every single year is the Tour de Cure, and it also got canceled and went to a virtual Tour de Cure this year. Well, the good news is we just got notification the other day that starting next week, our planning committee is getting back together and start planning for the 2021 Tour de Cure. Don't know at this point, as far as I know, they're planning on doing a live in-person event again. But all that could change as time permits or continues on. So we'll see what happens. But the good news is we're starting to plan that now too. So we'll look forward to doing some events again next year. It's kind of been a stale 2020 as far as our events that we do. So hopefully we get back to some type of normal. Speaking of 2020 events, one of the other bike events that we always participate and help with, Ride for Ronald has gone virtual. I guess they waited to the last possible minute to see if they were going to be able to come across and do an actual in-person event again this year, but they've now decided to go virtual. So the weekend of Melbourne Hamfest is usually the weekend of the Ride for Ronald, and now that's going to be virtual, so we won't have to worry about that this year. I'm sure that everybody's been monitoring the weather, and not going to take too much thunder away from Keith.
Yeah, that's me. Say what you need to, John. No big deal.
But I thought this would be a little interesting thing to show you guys. Be thankful we're not in Mississippi or Alabama right now, as the storm slowly approaches the coastline up there, and they're not expecting the full impact until tomorrow night. So they're going to be inundated with rain for the next 24 hours. So again, we dodged another bullet. Yes, we got some rain over from this one, but and before anybody starts complaining about all the rain, if you've been here since 1998, just remember 1998. The wildfires, the fires all across Florida, the smoke, the lack of rain, how dry it was. We don't want to go that route again. So as much as the rain gets to be a pain, be glad that we're not having all the wildfires and stuff again this year. So, and Dean is still around. So just think about all those people out in California who are basically every night seeing nothing but orange glow everywhere and trying to save their houses and stuff. But we're not going through that this year. So be thankful for that. With that, there's only one named storm left in this year's alphabetic list of hurricanes, Wilfred. And from what I heard the other day, if we hit that W named storm this month, it will be the first time that we've ever gone into the Greek alphabet or started using the Greek alphabet so early in the season. I think 2004 or 5 was the last time we used the Greek alphabet.
2005. We're 3 weeks
That's
ahead
fine.
of where we were in 2005.
So, yep. So we're well ahead of that. So you never know, guys. It can happen. It's been a strange. 2020 has been a very, 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 very strange year. So we'll look forward to hopefully no more storms affecting Florida. Everything just keeps going away from us, and hopefully out to sea, not even affecting anybody else. So just keep that in mind. And also, Doug, have you talked to James since he got back from Louisiana?
Actually, I have, and he's headed back up that way now.
Yeah, he's yep.
So he's he did I don't know. Did he have you told him the story about the elevator?
I have not talked to him since he's gotten back. I did talk to him while he was up there prior to the storm hitting.
Okay.
But I did watch the elevator incident on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Emergency operator gets trapped in elevator by storm.
Yep. And apparently it wasn't the power outage. It was just apparently something happened to the elevator.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, yeah, he's on the way back up there. So be interesting to see what stories he brings back with that one. So with that, let me go to Michael real quick. Michael, do you want to bring some updates on anything you got? Unmute.
Yeah.
Still not hearing you.
There we go. You should hear me now.
Yeah,
Yep.
now we hear you.
Helps if I turn on my mixer. I was wondering why nobody was hearing me earlier when I was trying to say something. Now I know. All right. Couple things real quick. One, Doug brought up the thing with shares. Just to bring everybody up to date, we really haven't mentioned it to the full group yet. I was approached probably about 6 months ago now or so about bringing shares to Orange County. Apparently it was already here, but it wasn't actually under a government basically identity at the time. So we actually went to the EOC, talked to them about it, and they agreed to kind of host it here. So basically we did do that. For everybody knows, shares is basically HF communications over government frequencies is pretty much what it is. There's also a WinLink side of shares to do WinLink over government frequencies also. We were approved. Our call sign locally is NNA4MC. Is the call sign. I am the holder of the call sign with the Orange County Emergency Management basically as the sponsor of it. What I'll probably try to do is reach out to Steve Waterman about him. He volunteered at one point to do maybe like another meeting to talk about exactly what all shares is and what it can do to bring the whole organization up to date on that.
Michael, I've got that presentation if you want to do it at some point. Steve's not available.
Okay, sounds good. So I'll probably I'll check with Steve first, see if he's available one meeting night. If not, I'll get with you. And I'm still learning shares myself, so I'm not 100% up to date on it. But like you said, we are working on getting a station up at our comm center. It'll be a WinLink station that's running all the time, then a HF voice station also there. So that's something that's already in the works. We're probably at this point about 60% there. Just got to check a couple things with the antenna that we were looking at, and just getting the equipment in to put it up and getting it up. So that's pretty much what I had there. Want me to do hamcation everything now, or? Okay. Real quick, hamcation's still a go. Still looking for volunteers for hamcation. You can go on the website. Right here under event information, go into volunteer. Fill out your information here. You can pick the day you want to work. And pick the location or the area you want to work in. I know all areas are still in need of volunteers. So please, if you're able to help this year, please volunteer. Another thing I had, John kind of mentioned it. Melbourne Hamfest is coming up. They are still planning to do it. I do know right now that if you go to it, you do have to wear a mask while indoors. They're going to have an outdoors tailgate. It is October 9th and 10th. So if you want to go check out, see what the first Hamfest is in the state of Florida since ARES, this will be it. And Hamcation will have a table there promoting Hamcation and selling tickets. So we'll see how well it is attended this year. Hopefully it'll be pretty good. We'll see. That's all I got.
All right, appreciate it. I'm going to go down the list real quick, and next Hollywood Square on my screen is Dean Grow. Dean, you got anything?
No, nothing new this month.
Okay, appreciate it very much. Cliff, did you have anything?
No, I don't. All is well.
Okay, and Rick Prone, do you have anything?
Negative.
How are we looking on making sure you have updated information on our database for ARES? You still need more help on that?
ARES is maintained, as soon as I get information, I put it in. I can get a printout, or we can do printouts. Each individual that's involved with all the information I have, including the picture of their photo ID. There are people on the staff meeting report that just no participation is indicated by no weekly check-ins, no meeting check-ins. And then I've still got some people's cards from 2018 that have never picked them up or maintained any interest in getting their ID cards. So they should be in a staff meeting decided what we want to do with them.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'm also still thinking about waiting until we get to the point we can meet face to face again, and we'll go down the list because there are some other plans that the county has as far as with ID cards and stuff. Once this other COVID situation is more contained and they're not being tied up so much about it, we'll be able to sit down and discuss it with them. And then we'll definitely have to probably look at, thinning the books as far as any of the people that we don't see anymore.
Are you indicating that county may change IDs for us, or we may have to change IDs to conform with county?
Nope, not changing anything on our side other than maybe having an additional one from the county.
Everyone?
Everyone.
That's not nice.
So we're discussing that right now. So it's a work
Just
in
to let
progress.
everybody know they will. Just to let everybody know they will not have door or gate accesses anywhere. It'll just be a county ID.
All county volunteers have IDs. That's why we're working on getting ours ID'd also. All right. So nothing else. Let me go to Keith.
Yeah, I'll mute myself. Not much going on. We did get the rains. There was a flood warning to our north, which was Volusia County. And I think Melbourne did a urban flood advisory today for a automatic rain gauge that did 5 inches around the airport, which was interesting. We all know Sally's out there. It shouldn't really affect us, but just keep it in mind, be on the safe side. And yes, we had a record breaker for a number of named systems in the Atlantic, like John said. And Wilford is up next. Got a wave coming off Africa pretty soon. And yeah, it's mega busy to say the least. So we'll see what happens and just go from there and keep an eye out. Not much really going on of interest in that respect.
Yeah, we're so thankful that this year so far everything has been moving away from us. We don't need any of those big threats like we did in the past. I do know that Melbourne also mentioned that Orlando is officially in the surplus of rain instead of the deficit of rain this year. So we finally have gotten on the plus side, which is good because I'd rather have a little bit too much rain than not enough rain. So anything else?
Since you made comment to Melbourne, I think Scott Spratt had posted on Twitter that our hurricane window for Florida is normally from September, October, when fronts do come down and kick systems to us from the west. So we'll have to watch the Gulf and the Caribbean, stuff like that, and anything else that gets pushed by the Bermuda High more westward in the islands and Cuba, so to speak. But that's still a ways off. But we all get the general idea in that respect. That's about all, John.
Yeah, usually in October, November, we go to the Western Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico, where they like to form and come our way. So we're not out of the woods yet, but at least we're past the peak and on that downward slide. All right, let me go to James. James, you got anything?
I mean, like a repeater on the air or something, or?
Sure.
I think everybody knows. Same people on the meeting, on our board meeting night. Well, it would make sense that the 442.525 is on the air to compensate for another repeater that just went offline yesterday. But that's not an ARES repeater, so you have nothing to worry about.
Oh.
It's an Orlando Amateur Radio Club repeater. But nobody's going to notice it because I'm the only one using 23 centimeters. So.
Oh.
HF station's working, sort of.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Mike, did it work? Did you play with it anymore after we left?
I never went back over there since that day. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure how well it's working, but it's working better than it ever did. We can say that for right now.
Okay. I guess that's pretty much it.
I'm still working on getting information for you on Clarkona. As soon as I know something, I'll relay it to you.
So anyway, guys, go ahead and play with the 442.525 when you go to the EOC. Oh, wait a minute. We can't do that. So whatever.
You're still going to be able to get further out than the EOC now. That's the good part.
I identify out there in Avalon Park doing crossing guard stuff nowadays.
Well,
Much better than what it
this.
was.
Have you tried it in the last 2 weeks?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I actually identified on it sometime this morning after 8 or 9 going down to Avalon at Serpent. Oh, crap. One of the Creek middle schools or elementary schools by Station 87. And IAD this afternoon after around 2 headed over to the middle school back over up at Avalon as well. It's kind of scratchy by the middle school. I forget what the name is off the top of my head, but it was there.
Oh, okay. Oh well. Well, I was just wondering because we did improve the receiver. Can't
Yeah,
do
I'm
much
gonna
more
try
for
to
the
get more on
can't do much more for the transmitter. It's already putting out quite a bit. So okay, that's it.
All right, appreciate it. Let me go to Mr. Harrelson. Oh, don't forget to unmute.
There it goes. I
There
kept
you
pushing
go.
the little microphone. No, I've got nothing. Just be nice to get rid of this COVID stuff so we can get back together again.
Yeah, I agree with there. You know, these are kind of nice because you don't have to go anywhere, but I still miss the face-to-face part.
I miss the fun days.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to mention real quick too. I'm working on
Have fun day.
looking at maybe the end of October, going back to doing a fun day for the first time. More information as it gets closer, but look at the end of October. Hopefully, get back to doing a fun day. And don't forget, guys, our fun days are our training sessions, project days, that type of stuff. All right. Let me see. Did I miss anybody? Anybody else have anything?
Don, I got one other thing I'll add. Have any of you guys used Ham Shack Hotline? Are you familiar with it?
Inside Ham.
It's for those who want to look it up, it's hamshackhotline.org, but they have put together a voice over IP system that's closed except for ham operators with a directory on it. They're encouraging folks to drop those in as part of their EOC ham setups. All it takes is a Cisco compatible IP phone. And I picked up one the other day. It should be here in the next day or two, and I'm going to see if it works. But if something to consider, if you're going to put the share station down or be able to move it, you might want to look at that, or anybody else in the club that wants to find a way to put a voice over IP phone system in that's tied to their ham stuff.
I have a friend of mine who's been playing with that for the last 2 years.
What's he think? I don't know yet.
He likes it. Yeah, he says there's a lot of people that use it. He says there's different, you can do different things, different groups. It works pretty good. He says it's very W4ILJ is his call sign.
What was the
And
website you said?
Hamshackhotline.org is what I've got.
Right.
And for a VoIP system, you can actually get analog telephone adapters. They're a little box like this with a network jack in and a phone jack out, and they're usually a lot cheaper than a full-on SIP phone.
They've got a list of the ones that they've tested and supported. I went looking the other day, the basic to use Cisco's, you can get them for $25-$30.
Yeah, they're cheap.
I looked at the one I ended up buying. I wanted a lighted screen, knew it was $70. And I said, I'm not going to buy a used one for 50 or 40 if I can buy something for a little bit more and get a warranty with it. So that's what I bought.
hamshackhotline.com.
Got 3 other VoIP SIP systems around here anyway.
I think you said either .org or .net, not .com.
I see .com.
It's .com.
.com. My apologies, guys.
Oh, okay. That was wrong.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, John,
Anybody
this
have
is
it?
Paul.
Hey, Paul.
My iPad froze just as you were probably calling on me. I got the letter that you sent, and the documentation's been sent to the ARRL.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Okay.
Yep.
Rick, that's Paul Kornritter. That was Paul K.
Yeah, I saw that and sent you a chat.
Okay.
I thought it was not butter. Got it wrong.
Still not sure who the mystery guest is.
The mystery guest.
Well, somebody had to let them into the room, right? So someone.
No, they just need the password.
Oh,
Well, it's that owner.
It's which
I think
owner?
it's Jerry. Is it Jerry? Is that you? Hey, Jerry, if you're on, unmute your microphone.
I don't know. Last time he had a video going, so
Yeah.
See, Mike
Okay.
comes home now.
Yep.
Don't they do the same thing on Hollywood Squares? The mystery guest?
Mystery guest.
Yeah.
It's
All
like
right,
that
guys.
was my line from years ago.
As I got 8:24, we'll give you back about another 35 minutes of your evening. Appreciate y'all being here tonight, and hopefully look forward to seeing you guys in person, in the flesh, sometime really soon.
Woohoo!
Thank you for the
Meetings are
invite,
going to
gentlemen.
happen
Ladies.
because I'm going to stay employed.
Not a problem. Appreciate you helping us tonight, Doug. We look forward to seeing you and hearing from you in the future.
Well, keep in touch. I'll be happy to help any way I can, and look forward to working with you guys any chance I get.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll go ahead and stop the live stream.